Let's go. Welcome, everyone. My name is John, here with my brother Jake and good friend Brad. Here to sift through the records last week and talk about what's left. Cheap equipment, no budget. We are a work in progress. The punk rock garage band podcast, adding our voice to resistance as loudly as we can. Before we get into it, please do like and subscribe, especially on YouTube, Substack. Also, follow us on TikTok while we're still around because they're trying so hard to ban us. Jesus, Mary and Joseph, you can't say nothing on this fucking thing. Uh, TikTok, we got Instagram, we got Threads. For now, until they deport us to fucking El Salvador or whatever happens. So, in the meantime, follow us, likes, share our videos. The Derealization Nation keeps on growing. So thank you all for being here. Tell your friends and fellow travelers. So also you can consider supporting our work by becoming a paid subscriber on Substack. That would be stupid helpful. It's just a hobby for us. We're not going to make any money talking about left-wing ideas. We could only make money if we just started going down the right-wing conspiracy theory path. That's where the real money's at. So if you'd like to help us, keep not lying to you, we have a optional paid membership on Substack. That would be very helpful if you could help out a little bit. We'd love that. All right. You guys ready to get into it?
Oh yeah.
All right, here we go. Shareholders in United Healthcare sue the company for being too timid about denying healthcare following the alleged shooting of their CEO. Donald Trump embarrasses himself again with another fake racist conspiracy theory. The genocide rages on in Gaza. Trump surrenders world trade to China and Ukraine to Russia. The GOP moves forward with the ugliest budget in modern American history. The U.S. Treasury bonds aren't selling. Interest rates are rising. Small businesses crumbling. And everyone from Beyonce to Bruce Springsteen is being investigated for aggravated capital meanness to Little Donnie. It's a real pile of bullshit this week, and it's time to see what's packing the most punch. So let's do Punch in the Turd Bowl. All right, Brad, what pile of pig shit did you step in this week?
We're going to talk about the budget.
Yay.
So the big beautiful bill, as they have named it, is officially through the House now by a margin of a single vote. It was completely across party lines with 2 no votes and a present vote. So it passed 215 to 214. The bill is 1,000 pages. And as I said, it's titled the One Big Beautiful Bill Act. And we're going to talk about some of the absolute nonsense that's happening in this. So we've already talked about the taxes on tips and overtime. We already kind of know how that's going to look with deductions and things of that nature. That was in the big beautiful bill. Another thing to offset the lost revenue from that, they intend to phase out the clean energy tax credits that Joe Biden passed during his presidency. By doing so, this will make the cost of the tax portion about $3.8 trillion, give or take, is what will not be added to the U.S. economy. So there is an increased deduction for the child tax credit from $2,000 to $2,500. However, unlike his tax cuts for the wealthy that will continue long after 2028, that tax credit is only offered until the end of his term in 2028. And then it is set to go back because although we want to make sure we solidify tax breaks for the wealthy for the long term, actually giving people an earned income credit is only temporary so that Republicans have something to run on again when it's over, because that's kind of how they do. So we know there's a temporary tax credit to $2,500, but again, they're eliminating it from you the moment he's out of office. Another huge thing is Trump wants to start something called the Trump account for children. It was originally called the MAGA account for children, where families could invest $1,000. The government would add money to it. And essentially, it's a 529 plan, which we've had forever, except this is a shittier version of it because you can't actually touch the money until you're 30. You can only get a portion of it to actually pay for schooling when you're 18. You don't actually have the access to all of the money. So essentially, what's happening is they're like, "Hey, invest your money into this so that the government can play with it." Because why the fuck not? So instead of just a 529 plan through a private entity, they're like, actually invest your money with the United States government because there's obviously no misappropriation in the United States government. That's a foolproof plan. There's no way that could be bad. Um, so they also plan to reduce spending on food aid by almost $270 billion over the next 10 years. Um, States would have to shoulder 5% of benefit cost beginning in fiscal 2028. So starting in 2028, states would now be responsible for 5% of the benefits cost that is supposed to be appropriated by the federal government, and 75% of all administrative cost for these food benefits would now be on the state. So even though they don't want to give money to states to fund education, they also don't want to give money to the states to actually feed the people in the state. So even though they want the state to be able to allocate more money for education and not rely on the federal government, they now want to take that money that they need for the education and now split it up to make sure that your constituents are fed as well. So that's obviously terrible. They are expanding the requirements to receive food aid. Currently, adults without dependents must fulfill work requirements until they are 54 years old. With the new big beautiful bill, if you're an adult with no dependents, your work requirements are now to the age of 64 years old. So in order to get food aid at 55 years old, you have to be working. And I understand that there are many 55-year-olds that work, but you're telling me after 30 years in the workforce, 35 years in the workforce, you don't deserve to be able to eat? They need 10 more years out of you? That's crazy. Some parents are currently exempt from work requirements until their children are 18 years old. This new beautiful bill will make it so that you face a work requirement for children age 8 or older. So if your child is 8 or older, you now meet a work requirement that you have to get in order to get SNAP benefits. So stay-at-home moms or whatever it might be are now required to go to work to receive benefits after their child is over the age of 7 years old. Yes. So $700 billion in reduced spending in the Medicaid program, 80 hours a month of work, education, or service without dependents. It began in 2026, so technically New Year's Day of 2027. People would have to verify their eligibility for the program twice a year rather than just once, which it currently is now. Millions of Americans will lose coverage with this bill. It's very obvious. Millions of Americans will lose coverage with this bill. And you can agree with that or you cannot agree with that. However, when we're talking about taking away health insurance from children or from the impoverished, I don't want to hear that there's $150 billion in new money going to the Defense Department. And when the big, beautiful bill, $150 billion in new money for the Department of National Security, for the Defense Department of National Security. $25 billion for Trump's Golden Dome, a missile defense shield. Obviously not a dome. It's
whoever will be building that, Brad.
So $25 billion for a Golden Dome. I've never in my life thought that there were countries trying to bomb us, because they're not. Because we have the strongest military in the world. Countries don't just wake up and they're like, you know, it'd be fun if we started bombing America. Like, well, why are we investing $25 billion in a Golden Dome unless we plan to make countries mad enough to want to bomb us?
Also, it would be a privatized system that would be subscribed to by the U.S. government, like Netflix. So, like, if we just decided not to pay the bill, we just wouldn't have this, space laser defense or whatever the hell they are going to be. This is like, to me, like that one is like they're selling you a fucking empty basket. They don't have to do anything. Like they can tell you the whole time, oh yeah, we've been making a Golden Dome. It's up there. Throw a couple of a couple test rockets that Elon was going to throw up there anyway. Expand the Starlink enterprise because that's his big deal. You know.
So 25 billion for the Golden Dome of America, and only $9 billion is allocated for service member quality of life related issues like housing, healthcare, and pay.
Out of 151
Yes.
billion.
So we're willing to spend 25 on the Golden Dome for America,
Yep.
but only 9 for the actual service members who have put their life on the line for this country. There would be a tax increase of up to 21% on some university endowments for colleges, which is obviously we're just taxing schools higher because why not? We just like I don't get that one. I don't understand why we're making it harder for universities to do research. That doesn't make sense to me. They intend to allow for more drilling and mining on public lands, which is insane because we're already losing oil rigs as we speak. So they're never going to, oil companies are never just going to work themselves out of a job. Like, that's crazy. This is stupid. But now, essentially, they're just opening public lands for leasing. Like, so who cares? These national parks aren't actually important. We're just going to pillage them for all we need for them. So those are like my biggest things. Obviously, we're going to spend more money on the border wall, which we obviously know is a waste. I do agree. If you want to employ more people to watch the border, that's a great idea. Give more Americans jobs. Let's not waste money on a fucking wall because it's fucking stupid. Put real people there. But what do I know? Obviously, we know the tax brackets and what all that looks like. But I was just kind of reading through, and those are the actual things that I saw today that I think we needed to kind of focus on is just that the spending isn't going down. It's just where the spending is going. So fiscally conservative Republicans are just fucking liars at this point. If you voted for your congressman because they're a fiscally conservative Republican, no, they're fucking not.
Fuck, they ain't.
No, they're fucking not.
But Brad, why all this? Why all of this cuts? Why all these cuts? Why all this spend? What is the point? Why are we doing all this?
John, you're not going to believe it, dude. You're not going to believe it. Tax breaks for billionaires.
Tax breaks for billionaires. Gee, that's exactly what I wanted. That's been on my Christmas list since 3 years old. It's all I've ever wanted. I hate universal health care. I think that all kids should starve. You learn better when that full stomach business is bullshit. You ain't gonna learn shit with a full stomach.
Mm-hmm. Trump said Massey, and I can't remember the other one, but they were holdouts on the bill. And he said that they should be primaried. But clearly he's not paying attention because if you look at any special election since the election in November, Republicans are just getting hoed in every single one of them. It's fucking embarrassing to be a Republican in a special election right now because you're getting hoed.
There was and we got to call it an anecdotal because it's presidential compared to a local to the congressman in the district, but an 80-point swing in a congressional district in New York, a district that voted for Trump plus 50, just got fucking hammered, and the Democratic congressman won by plus 30, I believe is the number. So
it's insane. It's like we don't talk about conspiracy theories on this show. No. It's just crazy how they've switched so much from November to now. Like so many votes in November, and now not so many votes. It's just, it must just obviously be the Republican Party sucks. It has nothing to do with the fact that of other things in November that made the election feel weird.
Yeah. I think some of the real facts of the ground still hold, like the fact that we failed as Democrats across the board to hold any argument about anything. We never made the case for the border. We never made a case for LGBTQ+. We never made a case for any of it, really. We never even made a case for the good things that were happening. You know, like people all the time, like Trump, well, things will get better. You know, you just got to wait. And it might sound like ridiculous messaging, but it's exactly what got Roosevelt through the Great Depression. It would say, "Good times are right around the corner," or "Sunshine's right around the corner," or something was like its campaign slogan. Like that was the whole thing. Like it's bad now, but things are going to get better. It was a hopeful message, and you gave the bully pulpit to Joe Biden, who had a hard time raising his voice above a whisper, and that really did cause almost irreparable damage. And it got brought up like once and then dropped, but like Lyndon Johnson also passed a ton of legislation in his short presidency, and then was defeated by the Vietnam War. And people were like, "No, this thing in Gaza isn't big enough." Well, maybe it wouldn't have changed the entire outcome, but it sure as hell made a difference. It sure
Yeah.
as hell made. So, I mean, not learning the lessons of the past is like the Democratic go-to. So, yeah, that's why these people, they all got to go. And it's also worth mentioning, and it takes a lot. I do not like. I believe in team ball. You know what I mean? I like to lift people up rather than tear them down when they're on our team. But it is worth mentioning, and it has to be said, that two Democratic Congress members died already during this term. And the vote passed by one. So,
New conspiracy theories.
it's
that's
conspiracy.
that's just the truth.
That's the fact. It seems like a conspiracy because that's wild as fuck. But
Correlation doesn't cause causation.
Right.
Yeah.
You
It is
gotta look
crazy.
into it.
Like,
That's some
we
serious
gotta fucking-
accusations.
we gotta fucking get the old people out.
Release the files.
Because if we would have got those old people out sooner, it's honestly like, shout out to RGB. She was a pioneer. But it's kind of your fault,
Yeah.
RBG. It's kind of your fault that the Supreme Court is packed conservative now. So,
Yeah. Hers.
Mrs. Ginsburg, respectfully, you really botched it with that one. You should have stepped down.
There is something to be said. And like these people, the guys that are hanging out to power still, it's like, guys, fucking step out. Do it.
Get out of our way.
They're not even like learning the lesson of Joe Biden. Like Biden had an opportunity, did not take it until it was too late, and now he's a pariah.
Yep.
Among his own people. Like even if these people love the guy, like they can't defend what happened.
Nope.
And, if you are worried at all about your legacy, you better start worrying about getting the fuck out. Yeah, this budget's a fucking wreck, and it will balloon the debt, which was not something that I previously worried about. But these numbers are actually atrocious and will cause real world damage to actual living people. Most of the time when they talk about these fucking petty little numbers back and forth, it's not going to make a difference in people's everyday lives. This absolutely already is. They're trying to sell treasury bonds and nobody is buying.
Right. Dude, nobody. The stock market got fucked on the other day because of it. The
Yep.
Dow fell over a full percentage point.
And, the profits do not trickle down in the economy, but the losses do. They always do.
Mm-hmm.
Layoffs are already starting to happen, big layoffs. And I'll tell you something else. If Walmart can't cut fucking, if they have to eat the tariffs, they're gonna cut they're gonna cut that staff too. There's gonna be some massive layoffs at Walmart if they do decide to eat those tariffs. You fucking mark.
Oh, they're automating everything.
Yep, you heard it here first. But yeah, you're gonna be doing all your own shopping. They're gonna ask you to put stuff back on the shelf when you're done picking it up. They're like, please go to the back and grab a box on your way out the door and restock cereal for us.
Yeah, for 15% off your order, please take one card from aisle 1700A and restock it on the shelves.
Oh my god! All right, should I go next or Jake? You want to go next?
I don't care either way. Mine's a light one, so if you want me to go last.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's get to this one. All right. So for me, maybe the biggest turd was this meeting of our president. Like with every other meeting he has with the world leader in the Oval Office, it's an absolute fucking embarrassing travesty. Um, this time he's out here pushing this weird conspiracy theory about some sort of white genocide in South Africa, which is not happening. And we'll talk a little bit about how much it's not happening, but it is definitely not happening. Okay? Never happening. It's not even close. So this guy, though, insists. He's got a PowerPoint presentation. He's got his girl come out and bring him a stack of papers, which he clearly cannot read. He picks them up. He looks at him. He's like, look at this one. It's death. Like there's a whole pregnant pause while he sits there and tries to struggle with the first word of the sentence. And then he just goes, death, death, more death, terrible death. He has no idea what those papers say. Zero. And they're probably all just tweets from Elon Musk and one of his bots. Like I mean, honest to God, seriously, this is what's happening. It's better than when he brought the blank paper to the interview before his first presidential term. People forget this sometimes. He had a binder full of blank paper that was supposed to be his plan to replace Obamacare. And Leslie Stahl asked to see it. This is why he hates 60 Minutes so much. It was blank fucking paper. There's nothing on it. So this is another one of these fucking examples of him doing this mindless shit, right? And he's trying to embarrass this president who brings with him white golfers to talk to him because that's the only people he knows that the president is going to listen to. And even then, the president insists again that his conspiracy theory is right and that the obvious facts in front of him are wrong. Just like when he yelled at Terry Moran about the knuckles on fucking Gilmore Abrego Garcia. He just keeps on insisting. But the South African president, to his credit, did push back. Let's take a listen.
And then when they take the land, they kill the white farmer. And when they kill the white farmer, nothing happens to them.
No, there is
Nothing happens.
there is criminality in our country. People who do get killed, unfortunately, through criminal activity, are not only white people. Majority of them are black people. I'm sorry, I don't have a plane.
What country offered the United States Air Force a plan? I would say, but you do have them.
Okay. That last little dig is ridiculous, right? The South African president basically just said, we all know you're for sale, which is hilarious. I'm sorry. It just is. Like he called him out. But then this guy didn't even get that he was being made fun of. He's like, well, if you had one, I would take it.
Yeah, we know.
Yeah, we fucking know. We all know. So yeah, this guy comes in. It's another. It's even somehow cringier than the Zelensky thing. And you can call it a distraction. You can call it whatever you want. But the fact of the matter is that this is not a genocide. Okay. According to the UN, genocide includes killing members of a group, causing serious bodily or mental harm to members of the group, deliberately inflicting upon the group conditions of life calculated to bring about its physical destruction in whole or in part, imposing measures intended to prevent births within the group, and forcibly transferring children of the group to another group, i.e., things that are going on in Palestine, in Ukraine, in South Sudan, in the Congo, but where they are decidedly not happening is in South Africa. These things are really happening to people all over the world. And even other things, like even in Haiti, these things are marginal close to, but certainly a lot worse than what is going on in South Africa. Now, in South Africa, there is a lot of violence, but unless you extend this to all people from South Africa, it is targeted racism. And he knows it, and he doesn't give a flying fuck. He is actually making the point that it is white people that are okay to be here, and the brown ones, we can fucking ship them out without cause, without process, without anything. It's an absolute disgusting sham. The Trump plan in Gaza is resettling Gaza's. They wanted to resettle them to either like Syria, Sudan, Morocco, Somali regions, Somaliland, Somalia, Sudan rejected the proposal, but Libya, one of the two governments in Libya, um, is willing to relocate 1 million, one half of the population of Gaza to Libya, and offering the release of $30 billion in funds frozen by the U.S. since the toppling of the machine of Gaddafi. So, for $30 billion, Trump is going to sell 1 million. Trump and Netanyahu are going to sell, and every last one of those Saudi Arabian princes who sat there with him are going to allow the sale of 1 million people into slavery. This is an ethnic cleansing by definition. This is sick. MAGA hates it when you call them Nazis. They hate it when you point out that they're they act like Klan members, that they are racist, that they are sexist, that they are misogynist, that their movement is trash. But let me tell you something. Years from now, and not that many of them, people will look back and they won't care if you were a Nazi, and they won't care if you were a communist or a fascist, if you were a part of MAGA, because that brand will be equally toxic. Equally toxic. You are signed on for some of the worst atrocities that have been committed since the Second World War. Not by a little, by a lot. 20,000 Ukrainian children have been kidnapped and are lost in Russia. Vladimir Putin's plan is to take over the entire country and wipe it out. Just turn it into Russia, more Russia. It'll be gone forever. And the president has decided that's fine. He's tired of negotiating. He doesn't care. He's going to walk away. Not to mention the things that are happening in the Congo or in South Sudan. Things that we have no interest in. In fact, we are sending our own people that we are kidnapping off our streets, to South Sudan, to the unstable region of South Sudan. So what is happening here, whatever is happening in South Africa, is laughable compared to the things that are happening all over the planet that we, the United States, are facilitating. MAGA will go down in history with all of the other evil things, as it deserves to. And Nazis will have their little eagle pins and their fancy hats, and all you're going to have is a worn-out fucking hat, some rhinestones, and a couple of TikTok dances. You look like an asshole.
And a rump watch.
And a rump watch. And a goddamn golden Bible or some fucking sneakers. Or what other goddamn trashy fucking memorabilia that manages to make it through the nuclear holocaust that this asshole is going to bring us to. So, enjoy your fucking cup of liberal tears. History's going to fucking hate you. That's it. I'm going to keep it short and sweet. I think the president has done a fine job of making the contrast for me. I just feel like it just needs to be pointed out.
Mm-hmm.
It's truly sad that he just openly displays the racism, because honestly, I don't care who you are, what color, I don't care about any of that. If you are seeking asylum from a country you do not feel safe in, I welcome you with open arms. No matter if you're brown, white, purple, I don't give a shit.
Mm-hmm.
We need to be accepting. So for him to just be like, actually, the brown ones are bad.
Yeah.
But these white ones over here, they're really going through it. It's tough for them. And we need to save them. I just don't understand why we don't just save them all.
Yeah.
It just seems so silly. He's like, actually, no, just the white ones. Just the white ones.
Yeah. Just the wealthy white ones. That's it.
Yes, exactly.
And it's always the wealthy that get the poor climb through jungles, cross the pass, cross the gap, cross the Rio Grande. They walk here for hundreds of thousands of miles, and the white people fly here first class, courtesy of the U.S. government. So, you know,
That's so crazy to me. And nobody sees any issue with it on that side. That's even crazier.
no, I'm telling you, there are literally TikTok dances of being like, "Yes, this is what I voted for." All right, Steffi. Well, guess what? You're a fucking, and that is not a fucking compliment. Fucking Steffi. So this is a pretty good transition because I know what Jake's turd is.
Well, I might have changed it.
Well, let's
Okay.
I
hear
don't
it.
know. Well, my turn. Let's start with it. Okay.
Okay.
So Pride Month's coming up. I'm so excited. Happy Pride already. Already celebrating. So there's been a lot of companies backing out of supporting Pride, and a lot of them in New York City, like MasterCard, I know is one of them, pulling out thousands of dollars, saying that it's like a rollback and all these DEI things. So many companies are just backing out. First off, our community will celebrate loud and proud. Money, no money. We could be just walking down the street. It would be the same amount of people. It's not going to stop us. We're not going to be marginalized. We're tired of being used as a distracting, telling people all these trans stories just to deflect on other bigger issues. But I would really like to talk about this really marginalized group. They call themselves Make America Hot Again. And I just want you guys to take a second to think about these young youth that have voted for Trump, and it's so hard for them to talk about it. They compare it to coming out as gay. It's hard. And they don't want to bring it up to their friends or anymore because they're tired of people coming at them. And all these people, they had a whole party. This was a whole party held in New York City about people who support Trump and are just afraid, but like want to celebrate and find people, like-minded people in the world because they're so marginalized now. And most of them would not share their name face because they're afraid of the backlash.
Have they tried? That's how they back in the day.
They might take a few notes from the gay people back in the day. Bandana colors.
Oh, there you go.
Out the back pocket. It's
Right.
just so sad to see. If
Yeah.
I saw any of them in public, I would bully the shit out of them.
Oh my
I
God.
would.
I hope they do get bullied all the time. Because I'll tell you, you wanted to be oppressed so goddamn bad. Well, fucking welcome to it. I hope all of the worst for you. I hope all.
Another one of their comments was, you go on 5 dates with a girl, and then all of a sudden she finds out you voted for Trump and she hates you all of a sudden. You can't stand it. I hate him. I hate it. I hate it. Once again.
Are a social pariah, and you fucking deserve to be.
It's crazy because my generation knows the cancel culture. So like they know like certain things will get you completely like blacklisted in our generation. But it's funny to see the older MAGA women just flourishing because they just love the hate and are so okay with it.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, they do. They live for it. They
Mhm.
live. And you know what? That's cool. I mean, you are just a group of the most hateful people. That is your combining thread, and that's why it doesn't matter if you're like what your specific hate is all about. If it's about if it's just like other Christians aren't good enough, or brown people are ruining this country, or they took her jabs, whatever it is that you think it is.
Yes.
Whatever it is, you're combined, you're unified under one hate-filled hat, and all of your grievances are heard here. All of these poor children who just have no place to gather, nowhere
to go to show their love for Trump.
How sad.
They can't have certain things on their dating profiles.
I don't really use mine, but it is like the first thing on my dating profile says no MAGA women. It's like it's the first thing. It just says no MAGA women. And then, like one of the questions is like, what's an immediate red flag? It said red hats. It's yeah, and it deserves to be because there's something sus. I mean, if only for the one like the one thing that I just talked about. Like that's enough of a reason. That's enough of a reason for you to go down in history as a hateful piece of shit group. And we really didn't touch on all of the people you shipped out to CCOT and how 50 of them now were here legally. Didn't even break the immigration law. So less than. So their whole argument was, well, they're all criminals because they were all here illegally. Well, at least 50 of them weren't. So lie. We talk a little bit about the women who are enabling this movement too. The Caroline Leavitt's lying about the budget, lying about everything. She said she said this budget was going to decrease the national debt.
Yeah.
Thomas Massey almost had an aneurysm.
That
was when Brad
that's just a lie. Dude, that's just a lie. He said,
like,
if they're telling you that, that's just a lie.
Like, what? Who said that? Like the White House?
Yeah, he's like, that's just a fucking lie.
CNN super cut it. I reposted it to TikTok. But they back and forth to Caroline Leavitt saying over and over again that this decreases the budget and or decreases the deficit. How could it possibly? Then why raise the debt ceiling, Caroline? Why would the debt ceiling need to go up if the debt's going down? Would we just want a little extra breathing room? What, just in case we decide to spend $5 trillion in the next 10 minutes? Get the fuck out of here. But yeah, it's not just her. It's Space Lasers Marge. It's Christy Nome. And
who did the kids conference?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Who did the kids conference where the kids were eating that girl alive?
You want to look it up?
Yeah. They were asking her questions she couldn't even answer. These are 6-year-old kids. And she's up there stumped.
Was it Leavitt?
Yeah, it's Leavitt.
Yeah.
All right. I lost it. Give me a second.
These kids deserve a trophy. At least a McDonald's trip on the way home.
Something. Right. Let them get the Happy Meal. Will somebody get the kid a Happy Meal?
Let's get this kid a Happy Meal. Oh, what's happening? Damn, now I don't know how to work Androids anymore. I've lost my...
That's a good thing.
It is.
I'm not sad about it. Oh my god. Why my TikTok is stuck in MAGA land.
I heard. The first note I knew. That was all telling. That was all telling right there.
With the sunglasses, with the slow sip.
The line to that song that I was about to say is, "I can kick your ass."
What's that got to do with slurping real slow out of a fucking Yeti?
Yeah.
I don't get the connection at all.
Nationwide is on.
Although I'm very much not MAGA, I am very much pro country music. So unfortunately, I know that song right off the bat, but I already know the video. I can just see it right now. I already know what it is.
All right, I found it. All right. Yeah. No, I loved all that shit back in the day, and I still like most of it. I really don't listen to I'm not gonna listen to Morgan Wallen or keep up with the new stuff or anything like that.
I hear you.
Our sisters and our mom are going to see George Strait on Memorial Day.
Dude, I would eat my fucking Crocs to see George Strait in concert.
Okay.
People has he fired? What's bar? We have not had anyone fired, with the exception of one individual who did leave their job.
Is Donald Trump's favorite president besides himself?
Good question, because it would be probably himself. No,
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Perhaps he would say George Washington.
That's how you know it's a bullshit answer. That is what people say when they don't know any other presidents.
Right. Right.
Name one other president, please, other than Abe Lincoln, too. That one's out, too.
The cleanest environment for the world. He also cares very much about our energy independence and ensuring that we can keep the lights on in our homes.
Disingenuous bitch.
So we want to.
Oh, now that can't go on TikTok.
Because we do it and better.
But lying to children can.
Controversial question, and I am not going to answer it. I know he loves all of his children very much, and they're all great kids. Some of them were here.
He clearly doesn't love them all the same.
He wants to sleep with some of them.
Yes, his favorite child is clearly Ivanka.
Yeah.
Fucking lump in his trousers. Fucking gives it away.
If
Free
she
her.
wasn't my daughter, perhaps I'd be dating her. That is a direct quote from the President of the United States of America.
When she was like 2, he's like, she's got her. We don't know if she's gonna have her, yet. This action, little Chi-Chi's action. What a fucking sick prick. And he's the worst for doing what she's doing. Like, you are a horrible, horrible human being running interference for this thing. Because you know better. And you're still lying about it. All of it. So, special place in hell for people like that. Just saying.
It's crazy how you can just go bold-faced lie on television and not even feel bad about it.
No.
She goes home to her husband that doesn't even love her, and they just go about their day.
Well, to be fair, he did just turn 80. Might have forgotten to marry her. No, he's not that old. He's pretty old, though.
You could have told me and I would have believed it, and then I would have been spreading the word.
Yeah. Look, the
Did you
birds
know?
and the dinosaurs, and this motherfucker is 80.
80, did you know that?
Like, if you say, and that's the thing with MAGA is too, is well, everybody knows that the 2020 election was stolen. Everybody knows this. Everybody knows that because Trump does that shit all the time. Everybody knows this. Everybody knows, that, climate change is a hoax. Everybody knows that. All right, guy. All right, let's take a quick break, and then we'll end the first half of our show. And when we come back, we'll have the fun half. I think that's copyrighted. We'll have the other half. All right. So, before we go, here's to you, MasterCard. I didn't come here to fucking bash you today, but, Jesus Christ. I hate both of the credit card companies already because they are a monopoly that needs to be broken up. They give us rewards, right? Ooh, yay, rewards, right? Rewards? Yeah, no. Those rewards are banked on the fees that small businesses, like all of us, pay every time a transaction is made. So Visa and MasterCard don't actually give you rewards. The small business that you bought from gives you the rewards. The transaction pays for the rewards. So they don't even bother to do that. They are a monopoly. They make all the money. They collect all the interest. They sell all the debt. They are the richest motherfuckers on the planet. And believe me when I tell you that plenty of people who are in the LGBTQ plus community use MasterCard. So fuck you, pal. Fuck you. You have no reason, no need to do this except, oh wait, you just so happen to be in court trying to be broken up. So we all know that a transactional president as Donald Trump is what this is all about. You think if you kick the boot on Pride Day in DC and decide to pull your fucking funding that he's not going to come after you. And maybe you're right. And maybe you're right. but I hope he fucking doesn't. I hope he doesn't even pay attention, and I hope you get broken up anyway, you piece of fucking shit. It's unbelievable how fucking these companies are psychopaths who have zero values and will literally sell their fucking any morals down the river for what, 75,000 fucking dollars? Are you shitting me? They've made that since before I started talking. Like in a blink of an eye, they've made that. So yeah, just like that. So fuck you, MasterCard, and fuck you, Visa too. While we're at it, and everybody else, anybody else who pulls out of the DEI projects during this Trump administration, you can go fuck yourself. I wish I could say we won't use MasterCard, but that's one that is literally unavoidable.
Yeah.
I'm gonna bash you. Fuck you. I don't know what else to say. Anyway, we'll be back.
And fuck Target too.
Yeah, fuck them too. All of them.